from Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Ellie Pai Hong. Minorities have been historically underrepresented in the finance sector, but there's an organization that's trying to reverse those trends and make that not be the trend. We have with us Emanuel Wilder. He is with PODER, a great nonprofit organization that's been around since the late 90s. Thanks so much for coming in. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to get the word out.
So first, let's talk about PODER. You started in '97, but what you started with is not what you're doing today. Not necessarily.
We grew. The name PODER means power. We want to empower people, and that's sort of our whole premise for what we do. Started off as an immigration integration center, teaching new immigrants the language so they could then, Ellie, get jobs and meaningful, gainful careers. So throughout that process, it's multifaceted, right? Just to learn the language doesn't mean you're ready to work. So we teach people the language, and then we want them to know that necessary job skills and soft skills that sort of serve as a precursor to some of the programs we'll be talking about today.
Yeah, and you really focused in on customer service, banking, and insurance, and it seems like customer service kind of is the basis for all of that, right?
Yeah, customer service, again, is so transferable throughout. If people can speak directly to a vision or mission that they have in life, and you can get that across, in any arena, whether it be sales, whether it be teaching or education or medicine, it works. So customer service is so vague for me. I teach my students, I don't like the word on its own. There are lots of layers and nuances to it, and the more we can speak to those nuances, the more a person understands the full gamut of what customer service is, and then we can relay that to an employer and get hired.
We were talking about minorities being underrepresented in the finance industry, but they're also what you call underbanked. What is that?
It means a couple of different things. Across the board, lots of variables have been studied. So, people of color might not have proper bank accounts. When I say proper, I mean they may be using currency exchanges to do all of their banking. There might be some predatory loans going on that they're not aware of and they just accept. So when you're underbanked, it means you're sort of under the curve of knowing what the norms are and how banks can really help. And fortunately, our program aims to, tackle those needs.
So the program is kind of twofold because you really aim to increase financial literacy, giving them knowledge of the banking system, but it's also to train folks to take jobs in the banking industry.
Absolutely. So the financial literacy piece comes from a lot of volunteers throughout our bank partners. And bank partners would come in throughout the 8-week course, teach certain modules. One of my favorites is credit, how credit works, why credit's important, how can we raise the credit score. So many pieces to that, but that's a really good place to start. How to save, why does budgeting matter? I'm all about the why. So throughout that 8 weeks, the financial literacy part is key. And then actually, how do we train people to actually work in the bank? Customer service is the precursor to what we do. That class is, that's a 5-week class, but it's only on Fridays. But we need to learn the hard pieces of banking and then the soft side. So our students will learn about sales. They'll learn about customer interaction. They'll learn about regulations, a very nuanced approach from our own experts. They'll learn about, opening and closing procedures. But the most important thing they'll do is learn how to interview specifically for bank jobs. If we can sound and look the part and speak with vision and have a succinct mission, it works. So that's some of the pieces we train to coincide with this whole goal of getting people into the banks.
And at the end of the 8-week program, that's exactly what you do. You come in with banks, they have interviews on the spot.
It's a really good program. Each student is presented, and I say something nice about each one. The banks are taking notes, and they're all hired after the graduation's over.
Wonderful work that you do. For more information and how folks can get involved, they can head to your website, which is poderworks.org. Emanuel, thanks so much for coming in today.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
This hour's newsmaker has been Emanuel Wilder with PODER. I'm Ellie Pai Hong. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time on Comcast Newsmakers.